Hey, quick question. If you had to put all your savings in one place, like all of it, would you trust Venmo? Think about it. That app you use to split pizza or pay your friend back for concert tickets, would you feel comfortable letting it hold your life savings? It's a weird thought, right? Because instinctively, we know there's something different between firing off a quick payment and stashing away your hard-earned cash. So, let's dive into that difference and figure out the real question here: is Venmo a bank? Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's acknowledge something. Venmo is incredibly convenient. It's become a verb, like Googling something. You Venmo your roommate for rent, you Venmo your buddy for that round of drinks. It's integrated into our lives, especially for younger generations, in a way that traditional banks often aren't. And that ease of use, that seamless transfer of funds, can blur the lines. It might make you think, hey, this is just like a bank, right? But here's the thing, convenience doesn't equal a bank. We need to look under the hood, peek at the engine, understand the core mechanics. So, what is a bank, and what does it do? At its most basic, a bank is a financial institution licensed to receive deposits and make loans. They're heavily regulated, insured, and built on a foundation of trust. Think FDIC insurance, those big brick buildings, and the long history of storing and managing money. Now, let's look at Venmo. It's a peer-to-peer payment app owned by PayPal. And PayPal, while a giant in the financial technology world, is not a bank. Venmo facilitates the transfer of money between users, primarily for small, casual transactions. It's a digital wallet, a middleman, a conduit. Here's a key distinction. When you deposit money into a traditional bank account, that money is insured by the FDIC, up to $250,000 per depositor, per insured bank, for each ownership category. This means that even if the bank fails, your money is protected. Venmo, however, does not offer FDIC insurance on the balance stored within your Venmo account. If something happens to Venmo or PayPal, your money could be at risk. 1. WalletHub.com. WalletHub.com. You might be thinking, but I see my balance, I can transfer it to my bank account, it feels like it's mine. And you're right, it's your money. But Venmo holds it in a pooled account, not in an individual, FDIC-insured account under your name. It's more akin to holding cash in a digital wallet, which, while convenient, doesn't offer the same level of protection. Let's break down some other key differences. Banks offer a wide range of services: checking accounts, savings accounts, loans, mortgages, investment products, and more. Venmo primarily focuses on facilitating payments. You can't get a mortgage through Venmo. You can't apply for a car loan. You can't open a high-yield savings account. And while Venmo does offer a debit card, that's still linked to your Venmo balance, not a traditional checking account. It's a way to access the funds you've stored in your Venmo account, but it doesn't transform Venmo into a bank. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Venmo's offering things like direct deposit and crypto now. And you're right. Venmo is expanding its services. They're trying to become more comprehensive, more like a financial hub. But offering a few banking-adjacent features doesn't magically transform a payment app into a fully fledged bank. Think of it like this: a food truck can offer a wider menu, maybe even add some seating. But it's still a food truck, not a restaurant. It doesn't have the infrastructure, the regulations, or the core mission of a traditional restaurant. Similarly, Venmo, despite its expanding features, is still fundamentally a payment platform, not a bank. There's also the regulatory landscape. Banks are subject to strict regulations designed to protect consumers and maintain financial stability. They're audited, they're monitored, and they're held to high standards. Venmo, while subject to some regulations, operates under a different set of rules, primarily as a money transmitter. Money transmitters are subject to regulations concerning anti-money laundering and consumer protection. However, the regulatory framework governing money transmitters is different and usually less strict than the regulations governing banks. Let's address the elephant in the room: trust. We trust banks because they've been around for centuries, they're heavily regulated, and they're insured. We trust Venmo because it's convenient, it's easy to use, and our friends use it. But is that trust based on the same foundation? Think about the sheer volume of transactions that flow through Venmo daily. That's a massive amount of money, and while Venmo has robust security measures, it's still a digital platform, vulnerable to hacking and cyber attacks. Banks, with their established infrastructure and security protocols, often have layers of defenses that Venmo, as a relatively newer platform, might not have. This isn't to say Venmo is inherently unsafe. Millions of people use it every day without issue. But it's important to understand the inherent differences in risk and security. And let's talk about customer service. If you have a problem with your bank, you can walk into a branch, talk to a teller, or call a dedicated customer service line. Venmo's customer service, while improving, is primarily digital and often relies on online chat or email. This can be frustrating when you need immediate assistance with a complex issue. So, where does that leave us? Is Venmo a bank? The answer, definitively, is no. It's a valuable tool, a convenient way to transfer money, but it's not a bank. It doesn't offer the same services, it doesn't have the same regulatory framework, and it doesn't provide the same level of security and insurance. That doesn't mean you shouldn't use Venmo. For small transactions, for splitting bills, for quick payments, it's fantastic. But when it comes to storing large sums of money or managing your long-term finances, stick with a traditional bank. They're built for that purpose, they're regulated for that purpose, and they're insured for that purpose. Use Venmo for what it's designed for, quick, convenient payments. Don't confuse it with a bank. Understand the differences and make informed decisions about where you store your money. Remember, convenience is great, but security and stability are paramount. And when it comes to your finances, you need to understand the difference. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.